To all of our Talking It Out listeners, I want to include this content warning. This week's recording will include discussion around topics such as physical violence and suicide. We acknowledge that this content may be difficult, and we want to make sure to create a safe space for all our listeners. Welcome back, everyone, to Talking It Out with Bachelor Nation. We have an amazing show for you today. Today we have PJ, the firefighter from Michelle's season. Really excited to talk to him and hear his story. But you know how we do. We got to get into our hot takes first. Mike, I'm actually going to take the lead on this one. Do you mind?
Let's do it.
Or on the latest episode, we saw one of our actual favorites. We actually had mentioned his name last week. He came out with a lot of swag. Jamie gets the first one-on-one, right? And when you get the first one-on-one, you got to know that the lead is feeling you. You know what I'm saying? Because like the first one-on-one is very important. And he came out and was very honest and vulnerable and direct and unleashed a heart-wrenching story about his mother. And I commend him. Like I have all the respect in the world for the way he came out, but I know you're going to speak a little bit to that on your hot take, but my hot take is going to go more towards the end of the episode where he essentially became kind of a villain. Mm-hmm. Now, he committed the cardinal sin in my book, okay?
What's that?
To tell you this, I actually was given some advice prior to going on the show. Number one, focus on the lead, okay? Don't talk behind anybody's back and don't start drama. He basically violated two of those. He started drama and he started talking about other men to the lead. And I think that is just like the worst thing you could possibly do. Rachel actually told me after the fact that anybody who talked to her or who used their quality time to talk about other dudes was immediately sent home. So just looking at that, I feel like it's bad news for Jamie. I just don't understand why you needed to bring up that whole Joe situation. Like, why would you want to talk to the Bachelorette about other dudes? The time is so precious on this show. You want to basically build your relationship and, you know, take steps forward, you know, and what you got going on with the person. But if you spend time talking about other dudes, like that's a quick ticket home, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even the other guys that he was, you know, he had him in a group and he was telling them about the whole situation of about what he had heard back home, that his friend saw Michelle in a bar and she was with some light-skinned tall guy, whatnot. Like the other guys were like, yeah, I'm not concerned about that. Like I'm focused on her. Like they didn't even want to hear that noise. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But he kept on. So it's like, Jamie, bro, we were rooting for you, bro. After that one-on-one, we were rooting for you.
Hey, hit him with that tire base. We were rooting for you. We all wanted you.
And he let us down, man. I was so disappointed in that. I mean, I respect the guy for everything he's been through, but I just think he committed the biggest blunder ever like that. And now look what happened. Now he's got to be all quiet. He's not saying, you know, telling, pretty much coming clean on who it was that was talking about Joe. He's keeping that in, but I gotta imagine that's gonna come out eventually, and it's gonna bite him in the ass.
It's definitely gonna bite him in the ass, 100%. You know, people always ask like, what's the one thing that you would have done differently? I have to call myself out, right? On Hannah Brown's season, when she was a Bachelorette, told her something that one of the contestants had did, and that's my one thing that I wish I hadn't done. I didn't get that piece of advice that you got. I wish I did, you know, but I didn't spend my days and nights talking about the situation. But Jamie with the little half S curl going, you shouldn't have did it, homie. You shouldn't have did it. But more importantly to me, what stuck out was the way that Michelle handled it, bruh. When she was like, I live in Minnesota, and so when you're a black woman, you're out with a black person, everyone automatically associates that with your boyfriend. But she's with one of her white guy friends. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh.
Yeah, no, she confronted the situation and confronted all the guys. I mean, but Jamie didn't step up in that moment. And
he didn't. He should have. Like, if you're going to say it, you got to say it with your chest. Yeah. And you got to, like, also apologize with your chest. And so, therefore, I don't think he's going to apologize with his chest. So I'm looking forward to this next episode. But I agree with you. He shouldn't have done it. We'll see what happens to his fate. Mind you, he was not neither one of our top three, or he wasn't in my top four, shall I say. He wasn't in my top four. I only got 3 people.
Did I say him last week? I think I may have said Jamie.
I said 3 because Caitlin only said 3 as well.
Yeah, you're right. You were holding tryouts for the other fourth person.
And to be honest, I still don't got my fourth.
You still? Hey, listen, I mentioned that young dude. He got a rose on the group date.
Little
baby Derek Jeter, baby Derek Jeter.
Yeah, Brandon. I call him Little Skincare. That's my name for him.
Skincare.
He got good skincare. I think if I had to pick a fourth though, bro, I'd give it to Rick. Rick is the one that came in on the salad.
Yeah. Dinner table Rick. I call him Dinner Table Rick.
Rick got game, bro. He's smooth with it.
Rick is smooth. You know, I also like. Caitlin mentioned him last week. The Canadian guy, tall. He was like a slam poetry guy. He has a beard. Tall guy. Chris G. There you go. Chris G.
He Kenny G. I can't give it to him.
Yeah.
Can't give it to him. Sorry.
No, and I was gonna mention because I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, did producers tell him to say that?" Like, I love the producers, right? They're trying to make a TV show.
Did the producers tell Jamie to say that?
To Jamie. Like, I don't think they told him what to say. They don't tell you what to say. But did he maybe bring that up and they heard it and were like, you know what? If you feel so strongly about it, why don't you tell Michelle? It's all on him. It's all on him. He could have said it or he couldn't have said it. You know what I'm saying? But they're just kind of, give you a little tap. If you take the bait, that's on you.
Exactly. Let's squash this. Did producers do this or not do this?
Correct.
Like the previous episode where they were like, I think Buddy was a plant that, when Tasha and Caitlin walked in on, he had his whole checklist of things. The producers, Ryan, that's his name. Think of the producers as like, I don't want to, they instigators, right? And in some cases, they're going to be like, oh, you going to let that slide? It's up to you if you want to do it or not.
Yeah.
And
so at that point, you got to control your emotions.
Yeah, that's on him.
Yeah.
Like, the producers can't tell you what to do. You know what I mean? That's on him at the end of the day. So my hot take, honestly, is also about Jamie. Like, it really is. Jamie, but I'm going to take it from the other perspective. You know my personality, bro. Look, if I was fresh out of a relationship and I was watching this past Tuesday's episode, your bro might have shed a tear.
It was a tearjerker last night, for sure.
Bruh, Jamie's story when he was talking about his mother, rest in peace to his mother, was so powerful. The way he said it, the way he spoke about it, the sincerity, the authenticity, the honesty, just everything. I got goosebumps now thinking about it. My hat's off to him for being able to speak about that situation as well. For those that are thinking about suicide and or have loved members that have committed suicide, at the end of the episode, we have, the hotline for you to reach out. I just loved everything about that. And to me, that was upstanding for him to do.
Yeah, no, I think it showed tremendous courage. I mean, you saw how Michelle reacted to him. I mean, she was pretty much bawling the entire time he was telling her that story. And, just mad respect to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the stuff that I said earlier, that was a different situation, but that particular scene that we saw, I mean, it was heart-wrenching. I mean, you and I are close to our mothers. So, I mean, and I know that you and I can't even fathom what that must have been like. You know what I'm saying? So I have a lot of respect for him to be so open and vulnerable coming out and saying that on national TV.
I would not wish that to my worst enemy at all.
Yes, absolutely.
But within that's my hot take because, I text y'all when the episode was airing, and I really wish that you could be that honest and cut through all the BS with the person that you're trying to go on a date with.
In real life.
Hey, yeah, in real life. This is our first date because Jamie had the first one-on-one. Is that I wish a girl, if she came at me like that, I'm with it.
It's like speed dating. It's like
I'm with it. But look, hell, you know what I'm saying? I'm with that. I'm truly 100% with that. How about you?
I mean,
real world scenario. Rachel
real world scenario,
Rachel
like
told you something like that. First date, Rachel say that.
You know what? I would feel the same way I did about Jamie. I would respect them for coming clean. However, I don't know if everybody would take it that way. I think it would.
Well, that's why it's a hot take.
Maybe somebody would be like, okay, that was a little too heavy to be coming out on the first date. Now, that's some people. Like, I feel like you and I, we would appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we would embrace that, them being that vulnerable. And, at our age, you're in your 30s, I'm in my 40s. Like, I feel like that would be refreshing, right? Because we've dealt with all the bullshit where they play games and all that stuff. But in this situation, I would appreciate it. I just don't know if everybody in the real world would want to hear that right off the bat.
The first thing people always ask is when you come on the show and you do all these interviews, and if alumni is listening, y'all know what I'm talking about. So how was your experience on the show? That's one of the first questions any reporter always asks. My takeaway from the show is that you can speak about these things in such a quicker pace, and bro, that needs to happen. Like, I don't give a damn what your favorite color is. Well, how that shit gonna help me?
Yeah.
How that's gonna help us, baby? Like, I can pick that up. First off, this is for the fellas listening. Don't be asking your girl her favorite color. You should be able to pick up her favorite color by the accessories that she's wearing. But it's pretty awesome when you say, babe, is your favorite color green, for example? She's like, why? I see you wearing this. I see you doing that. I see you doing that. And then if she says yes, then that's pretty dope right there. Don't be asking her all them dumbass questions.
Yeah, you got to be perceptive. You got to be perceptive and pick up on those little things, and then have the deeper conversations that you're talking about, a lot quicker. And I mean, I totally agree with you that this show, being in that bubble and just, having your feelings out in the open like that and being so vulnerable. Like, I remember coming off the show and like talking to my boys, and I'd just be like, hey man, how you doing? How you feeling? Like I'd get into it, right? And they'd be like, what the hell's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you getting all sentimental on me right now? And I had just come out of that situation where it was like, that's all we did. You know what I'm saying? So I could see how it actually like affected me in that way. But yeah, I totally agree, man. If we could cut through the BS on dates and, you save a lot of time, right? Like, it's like, okay, are you for me or are you not? Like, let's figure this out quick.
Hell, I'm gonna call my roommate out, Connor, and I'm the same way as Connor. So Connor, I love you. You will save time and money. I ain't trying to go on 19 dates with you to get to the meat of who you are. Like, let's talk about it. Let's get to know one another.
And that's the thing, man. Everybody, you meet their representative. Again, I always go back to that Chris Rock line. Like, those first 6 months, you don't really know the person. And why? I think people have their guard up. Right? They have these walls up, like they've been hurt before. So it's like, if I am that vulnerable, am I going to get cut off after one date? Possibly. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what people are scared of, and that's what they don't want to do by divulging all that, personal information.
I think it's a tact. Tact is the operative word. It's how you go about doing that, and then how you weave in and out of that conversation. It's about tact. But I loved his deep conversation. But someone that we talked about last week, bruh, that we both, we wanted to see more about. He was a little swaggy. He came out there in a big Tonka truck, aka the big fire truck, not the little one. We both wanted more information. He a Texas boy as well. I want to know more about PJ. Like, what was PJ's story? He went home this past week. I want to know his story. So let's bring PJ in. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Just like today's episode that we had, we talk about real issues that people face. And I think a lot of times, especially men, we don't really talk about our issues that much or talk about things that we're going through in our mental health. But, bruh, this is something that genuinely affects every human being. I think it's something more that we need to talk about. What about you?
And our guest talked today about some great advice for people out there who are struggling from mental health issues, as well as tragedies in their life. He basically was saying that you need to flush it out. You need to talk about it. Find somebody to talk to. At Talkspace, your privacy and security are their number one priority. You can send messages 24/7 and get replies throughout the day. There's no need to wait for a weekly appointment.
Definitely so. And I mean, the fact that that your conversations are encrypted and the added security features just keep your conversation fully protected.
So whether you struggle with anxiety, depression, self-doubt, or anything else, Talkspace gives you access to the help you need to move forward.
Listen, do not leave your mental health to chance. Talk to someone who's trained to help make this a lasting progress.
Guys, join Talkspace today and start moving forward with a single message. Just visit Talkspace.com and get $100 off your first month when you use promo code TalkingOut at signup. That's $100 off at Talkspace.com, promo code TalkingOut.
PJ, welcome to the show, man. How you living?
I'm good, man. Just grateful for the opportunity.
Nice. Thank you for being here today. You from Houston, right? Or no, you from Dallas, right?
Well, I was born in Dallas. I actually grew up in Austin. And I moved to Houston about 7 years ago now when I started my job. So sorry.
And you're the real fireman, right?
I mean, that's the way they made it look on there. Yeah, no, I'm definitely a real fireman. Shout out Daniel.
No,
he's a good dude.
We talked about the two of you on the very first episode that the Michelle season came out because, like, we thought Daniel's situation was pretty dope. And then, they put you right behind
the
Daniel.
next person.
Like, the very next person. Like, the way that it was shown, right? That was embarrassing on Daniel, man. Like, did you ask to have the real fire truck, or did they just say, hey, here's the real fire truck?
I mean, it came up, and I was like, yeah, for sure. I'll definitely take it, if that's an option. For sure.
I'm sure at that time, for everyone listening back home, you didn't know Daniel at that time, right?
No, I didn't know Daniel or anybody else would be out there, so that was a surprise.
So PJ, tell me, like, what was that first night like? Because I know for Mike and I mean, you like kind of black out a little bit. When you walk out, you see the Bachelorette. Talk to me about your feelings going in and how you felt when you first got out of that fire truck.
I mean, it's like you play it through your head a million times how it's going to go or how you think it's going to go, And she kind of threw me a curveball because as soon as I hopped out, she said something to me. And I was like, man, she wasn't supposed to talk yet. I wasn't ready for that, But that actually, it actually calmed me down and made it feel like a more real, casual situation, just me and her talking. And it was real cool. It was genuine.
She said something to you like, what do you mean she said something to you? So
when I forgot exactly what she said. She mentioned she didn't mention there was another firefighter until I came up. But she said something about the truck. As soon as I hopped out, like, I want to see the truck. Something like that. And I was like, oh, okay. We can do that.
So you gave her a little tour? You gave her a little tour of the fire truck?
Yeah, after that, gave her the hose and she accepted, of course. And, so with that, then I let her climb up, mess with the little buttons and stuff like that, the sirens and stuff. And she had a little good time with that. So it was cool.
PJ, we're going to keep it G-rated, but when you said I gave her the hose, you could so take that derogatory. We're going to keep it G, though. I gave her the hose,
No comment.
I gave her the hose. That got to be the first thing you say, PJ, really? I gave her the hose,
The fire hose. The fire hose.
I'm assuming, fire hose.
No, we know you. We know you good, man. How is it being a fireman? Like, one, we commend you for doing that because that's a selfless job, right?
Respect, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You go on. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, how is it? How is it being a fireman?
It's fun. It's a lot of times it doesn't feel like work. When you work with guys that, we all got a common goal, and we know it can be a stressful job, and you have to turn it on. But most of the time, it's just it feels like you're hanging out with the boys. You're doing a stressful job, but it's fun. We all have a good time with it, and it's really rewarding when you come home.
All right, so this is something that I have because you live in Houston. I've considered moving to Houston, but the main reason I don't anticipate living in Houston because y'all have a lot of floods in H-Town, right? Is that something that firefighters have to go out and help and assist with?
Yeah, as best we can. So we have like a water rescue team. We have a few boats. We have
y'all got boats.
We got a few boats, yes sir. And we can get, if we can get to you, we will. But a lot of times it's like we're driving around the trucks and we can only go so far too. As it's a fire truck. It's not made for water, so it's like if we can get you, help you out, we can. And but we get called out for all kind of different stuff as well. So I mean, and Harvey specifically, I remember we got out there as far as we could, and then there were some people who were like, hey, we have a canoe, if you want to go the rest of the way. So me and another guy, we got in the canoe and went the rest of the way and got to somebody who needed some help and got them out of there. So
that's awesome.
Just do what we can with what we have. So.
I appreciate it.
And PJ, do you have obviously that's a story of heroism right there. I mean, do you have any other crazy stories that you've experienced in your career being a firefighter that you could tell us?
There's you see some pretty crazy stuff, some gruesome stuff. A lot of people don't realize that, they think fire is just, hey, we're running and burning buildings. A lot of times we have EMS calls as well. So we'll do, all the stuff you get, like shooting, stabbings, people. We have the jaws. We got to cut people out. The jaws are like cut people out of cars and wrecks, stuff like that. It's always something. There's never a dull day. Sure.
Definitely so. What led you down a path of becoming a firefighter? Like, was it? Was it the women liking it, or was it like the true nature?
They love a man in uniform, right?
Like, what's the benefits? Like, talk to me, because I thought about being a firefighter one time as well.
Yeah, it was it was something to where when I graduated from college, I couldn't see myself sitting behind a desk at the time. You know, I still had aspirations of, you know, playing football, things like that, staying active. That didn't pan out the way I wanted it to. But I actually had a buddy, his mom was a firefighter. He was my roommate at the time. And his mom was a firefighter in Houston, and she kind of reached out to me, knew I was in a transitional spot, and kind of was like, hey, you should check it out. And I looked it up and applied, and it was, you know, worked out, be the best decision I made. So
For sure.
it was really, I can't do the 9 to 5. So
I don't blame you, man.
Yeah.
Did you you play football in high school and college or what?
I played both high school and college. Yeah.
Okay.
I played at Lamar University and out in Beaumont. Texas.
Out Beaumont, Texas.
What position?
BMT. Played tight end and H-back. I was a little bigger back then.
A little more swole.
Yeah, a little more. Yeah.
Fair enough, man. Well, you know, I don't know if you ever listened to Talking It Out, our podcast. Just say you have, so you know the people know it's real. But here we like to get a little bit deeper with folks, and so we didn't get enough time with you. Bryan and I both were talking about you last episode. We really wanted to see a bit more of you. You got a little swag. You got like that little quiet Kawhi Leonard swag going to you. So like, we kind of just want to know the man behind the suit, shall I say? Talking about the firefighter suit and the Bachelorette suit. Like, you know, how was life for you growing up in Texas? What's your family dynamic like? Talk to us.
Man behind the suit. I mean, I feel like I'm just like everyday kind of dude. You know, I like to hang out with my friends. You know, chill, relax, laid back. You know, growing up and growing up in Texas is just, especially being an athlete, it's always a big thing. You know, everybody's got Texas pride. You know, we feel like we're the best at everything. You know how
we are.
So bigger and better. You know how we do. So it's just like, you know, growing up like that, and my family dynamic is, you know, my parents always been there. You know, best parents I can ask for. You know, I'm a big family guy. That's another thing about me. I think that defines me. So it's me and my little sister now. We lost 2 of my brothers growing up, and that was tough. But that kind of kept us. It brings into like, you know, brings into fruition the things that you overlook, you know, take for granted. And I think it's definitely brought us all together as a family. Both sides, I have a real big family on both sides. So we all come together and we lean on each other. So that's what we pride ourselves on, for sure.
When it comes to your brothers, do you feel comfortable sharing their story?
Yeah, I do feel comfortable. I feel like I'm in a place, you know, I can talk about it now. So
okay,
it's something.
Yeah, man. I mean, how close were you guys? Like, what, you know, talk to us about growing up with them and, you know, the impact they made on your life.
So my older brother my older brother was my dad's son before him and my mom's marriage. So he didn't live with us. He was a little bit older. He was 7 years older than me. But he was always there. You know, he was just at a point in his life when we were younger that he was still trying to figure out his stuff. You know, so he couldn't always come to everything or be around. But he was definitely a strong presence in my life growing up. He was a football player. He played at Iowa State. So I looked up to him, you know, wanted to do everything he did. And tragically, he ended up getting shot. He got shot and killed in 2007. That was my sophomore year in high school. So it was just
Iowa?
Oh no, he's back home in Dallas and Oak Cliff. So you know.
Oh yeah. Oh,
that is, so right. Yeah. So it was just an unfortunate situation, an altercation that, you know, went south, and there was that in 2007, and
damn. Sorry.
I appreciate that, man. And then my little brother is and he was kind of like just the shining light of the family. You know, he was always the one to do something crazy, or, you know, the one if my parents said do this, he was going to go the other way and do his own thing. He was definitely an individual, and he was in a good way, though. You know, he was thought outside the box, things like that. He was he graduated from Arizona Business School. This is 2017. We went for the graduation. He had started, this whole time he was working on a clothing line, athleisure wear line. So he went to Greece with a couple of his frat brothers. They went out there, one of them being from Greece. They went, he was going to shoot some pictures after the graduation, kind of launch the clothing line, things like that, hang out, you know, just to celebrate. And so they were out there in Greece, and like it was the last night, they went to a bar. And it was like, from my understanding, it was an area kind of like, well, you're familiar with Texas, kind of like South Padre, you know, like a party island type deal. And there was a bar, it was like a Serbian bar or something like that they went to. And I guess there was an altercation. He took a selfie with one of the bottle girls, and a guy there didn't like it, so they had a little altercation inside, and they were outside afterwards, and then he got separated, and the guy went back in. Some more guys came out, and they jumped him outside, kind of chased him and jumped him, and he ended up losing his life out there like that. So it was just a big, I don't know if it was a American thing, a race thing, but it was just, it was really unfortunate the way that went down. So it ended up that was summer of 17 when that happened.
Was there any justice served? Like, was your family ever able to find out who did it? I mean, did they catch the guy?
Yeah, so they got the guys. There was 10 of them, and they had them detained for a while. There's 10 guys, and I think 8 of them are still detained, I believe. I don't want to give you the wrong numbers, but there was a trial in that was the fall of 17. We went to Greece for the trial, and it's just the verdicts we got they weren't really representative of the crime at all. And the prosecutor was, he's like, I've been doing this, so many years, and I've never seen such, misrepresentation of justice. So he pressed for a retrial in a higher court, and we got that. And so that's a good thing. But COVID kind of pushed everything back. And so right now it's looking like the retrial will be in February. So hopefully.
Man, so, all our prayers, warriors out there, definitely
Appreciate
praying
that.
for your family, praying for your brother. You said, if I may ask, what was the verdict of the first trial for those individuals?
The verdict was, so they don't do like we do. They don't do, obviously there's no death, no life sentence, anything like that. I think the max is like 20 or 30 years. But there were a couple of guys that they were able to remove from the process just because of the way their judicial system works, and kind of say, well, whereas to where here would be, if whether you did, whether you tripped the guy or whether you just, pushed him one time, if you were involved, it's all part of the murder. But over there, it's kind of like they were able to pick and choose what certain people did per se, and kind of give them much lesser charges.
So you're saying out of the 10 individuals, 10 people
10, yeah.
that jumped your one brother,
Yes, sir.
they got different charges based on
Based on their exactly, yeah,
Their version of the story, basically.
Right, basically. So it was a high, highly populated area, kind of. It was like there's a bunch of cameras and things like that on the sides of buildings. So I think they pieced together what they were able to see from the cameras and like witness accounts and things like that. And then the guys had different representation. Their lawyers would be like, well, my client only did this, or my client only threw a punt, type deal. And they were able to try to separate them instead of charging them all as a combined unit for what happened.
Wow. And you had mentioned something. I don't want to, discredit that. You had said something along the lines of, you don't know if it was like an American thing or a race-based thing. Can you elaborate a bit on that?
Right, because he was, just to be, if we're being completely honest, he was with other his frat brothers were white guys, and they took. I think it's like they were all in the pictures and stuff together. It seemed like they kind of singled him out. And then for it to
all three, I don't want to discredit that because I used to live overseas. That's huge, and I feel like I'm being. So it was your brother was taking pictures with this the shot girl, the bottle girl, with his 2 friends. They're for a business, mind you, for doing the right things in life, and they're white, but nothing happened to them. No,
the guy. So I guess the guy felt like he was the only one in the picture. That's all he saw. There's actually footage of that as well. So it looked like he kind of just pinpointed him. And one of them went to, so I believe it's 3. One of them went to talk to the manager inside, the one from Greece. When they put him out, he went back in and talked to the manager, kind of figure out what was going on and try to sort things out. And the other one that was outside, they ended up getting separated. And it's like they they definitely did pinpoint my brother. So, it's kind of like, it's this black thing, why him and not the whole group. So
if I can, his 2 friends, my bad, Brian, his 2 friends, what were they?
The one was back inside. He had talked to one was inside with the manager.
And then one was separated.
And one was outside, and I'm not sure it's hard to see how they got separated or what happened. I'm not sure, but he wasn't he wasn't there. So
That makes sense for his one friend that is from Greece that probably speaks the language to go talk to the manager. That makes sense. I can see that.
right.
And what was the aftermath like for your family? Because I mean, I can't imagine it's easy when this stuff happens overseas. It's like, how were you, like, did you go over to Greece? Like, did your family go over to Greece to kind of try to figure things out? Or was this all just kind of communicating with people in Greece?
For the most part, originally it was the first. We didn't go out. My parents went before me, but they didn't go out until it was time for trial to start, for the trial to start. So it was being in contact with the
Authorities.
with their with Greece, with the embassy. So they're trying to make contact with them, and they were pretty decent with their contact, with their communication, and they just didn't know a whole lot. But until it was time to go out, my parents went probably maybe 2 or 3 weeks before the actual trial. They kept just kind of way the judicial system is out there. It was a little rough with the dates and the timing. Things kept getting pushed back and things like that. So me and my sister and my uncles, we came up a little bit later when we kind of had a set time on the trial. But all that leading up to that was just, phone communication, phone emails, back and forth. So
PJ, man,
stuff.
This sounds incredibly tough. Again, my condolences to you and your entire family.
Same.
How did y'all find out? Like, who called y'all? What was that like?
Yeah. So that night, I just remember I was driving to my apartment complex. I was with some guys earlier that night, and then my dad had called me. It was late, and I was like, "There's nothing good, coming from a call this late, So when he told me, and I was gonna go right then, it was like 3 or 4 in the morning, but I waited. My uncle was in Houston at the time. He was living here. He picked me up in the morning, drove me back to Austin. But they heard from it was the embassy that called them and told them that they had identified the body, and they sent pictures and things like that. So they were able to identify him.
And so this was the same night.
It was him. Same night, yeah. That was the night before my dad's birthday, yeah.
Wow. So that night, and I just want to make sure that I have the
I'm
story.
sorry, night after his birthday. I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you don't say sorry to me, man. You perfectly fine.
Mike, you're a financial expert. I feel like the stock market and trading can be so confusing and intimidating. Like there's a learning curve.
No, I mean, I can see that definitely so. But like, I was just having dinner with my parents, and they were asking me questions about the stock market and everything like that. And I'm just trying to help them and navigate them to an easy website, an easy app to be able to utilize.
You know what? A lot of investment apps make it easy to start funding, but just because it's easy to do doesn't mean you know what you're doing. That's what makes Wealthfront different. They make it easy to invest, and they make it easy to get smarter about investing.
Definitely so. Again, like I was telling you, when I just had dinner with my parents, they were asking me questions. And so I had to ask them questions to better assist them in their investing. That's the exact same that Wealthfront does. When you log on, they ask you a few questions so that it's personalized to you. Wealthfront will build you a diversified portfolio of low-cost index funds in a few minutes.
You can also build your own portfolio with clean energy funds, crypto trusts, cannabis, tech, and hundreds of other investments.
That's what I'm talking about. I want to see everything under the table. Wealthfront even offers a socially responsible portfolio. Brian, they got everything that you can possibly look for. So people need to go on there, check it out. They have a mix of funds built around human rights, mix of funds built around climate change, sustainability, and diversity. And best of all, Wealthfront is totally automated, bro. They do all the trading and rebalancing for you.
So to start building your wealth and get your first $5,000 managed for free for life, go to wealthfront.com/talkingitout. That's WEALTHFRONT.com/talkingitout to start building your wealth. That's wealthfront.com/talkingitout and get started today.
So this was like the same night after your father's birthday. The Greece embassy calls your parents. They identified your brother, and then your uncle calls you, like at 3, 4 that morning.
No, right. Well, my dad called me. He told me.
Okay.
And and then I got off the phone, and I kind of scrambling. I was gonna try to get some stuff together. And my uncle called, and he was like, "No, don't leave now. Just wait. We'll pick you up in the morning, and we'll drive. We'll drive back to the house." So he came and got me a few hours later, and he drove me back, so I didn't have to drive. And And I mean, my mom, she was on top of it. Like it was kind of surreal. When I walked in the house, you know, she's on the laptop looking stuff up, trying to get all the information, details, people to contact, things like that. She was definitely our rock through all of it. She was on top of it for sure.
That makes
Interesting, man. Speak on that, man. Like, what did you and your family learn about this horrible tragedy? And, you know, talk about your brother, man. Like, how did he influence your life?
My brother he's my little brother, but I just looked at things he's done and things he's accomplished. And I mean, I don't think I've ever met anybody who had a bad thing to say about him. He's a fun guy. He loved life. That's really just his description of him. He loved life. He traveled. He was in a business program for a little while in China. He'd been to Europe, and actually he's kind of the reason I travel now. So he's kind of set that platform for me to kind of be like, man, I need to get out and see the world, because he was doing all these things, you know, at the age of 20, 21, you know, and once I had the means to do that, I was like, yeah, I need to get out and do that and travel. And that's why we kind of have these wristbands here that say, you know, travel and love and memory. We kind of travel and we post it's called BLB, like be like Bakari. His name was Bakari. And we travel and, you know, we kind of post the pictures with our bands, kind of like traveling with him, because that was his main thing. You know, he loved life, you know, loved traveling. So
I love that, man.
And,
love it. Is there, you know, so you guys have the bracelets to represent your brother. Is there anything else that you guys are doing, or that our listeners and us ourselves can do to, you know, to help the fight for?
Oh yeah, for sure. We in the meantime, we have so everything that we're doing to go overseas is, you know, it's us. We're trying to, you know, get the money and do things like that. And that just is what it is. But we have a foundation that we started, the Bakari Foundation. And that's actually what we do is we take families that send us their stories of what happened to their family members. So it's families that have lost a loved one due to violence of any sort, things like that. And we have a board. We go through and we use the money we've raised with different little fundraisers, things like that. And we send that family that we choose, we send them off wherever they'd like to go on a trip. And most recently, we've actually had the new thing we're going to do is we have like a resort type place we had in Costa Rica. And we were going to pick a few families so we could do multiple families and just bring them to the resort. We were going to be there and do like a healing type deal, you know,
A retreat.
like a healing by travel is the healing retreat by travel was the main goal, but COVID kind of set that back the last couple of years. But that's what the foundation does. And we do a lot with a lot of the schools around in Austin, the kids, giving them stuff like that. And we also offer to the families that reach out, we offer, it's like counseling. We offer counseling through different outlets we have and things like that as well.
And how can the audience contribute to the foundation?
If you go, we take donations. If you just spread the word, anything like that. We have an Instagram, the Bakari Foundation, that or just the Bakari Foundation, the Bakari Foundation on Instagram.
How do you spell that? How do you spell your brother's name?
B as in boy, Akari.
So V as in, you know, THE Bakari Foundation.
THE.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is that .com?
And that,
okay.
Right, or .org, I'm sorry.
Okay. The Bakari Foundation.org. PJ, I live in Austin myself, so if ever, you know, I'd love to do what I can do to help out 100%. 100%. And I'm from Dallas myself. I know how Oak Cliff is. We don't gotta get into that. No. Yeah, we don't gotta get into that. How does your father and your family deal with losing two immediate family members at such young ages? Like, what is that dynamic like? Because trauma it affects everyone differently. How is that in your family, your household?
In my household, it's just, it makes you hold on to what you do have a little bit more, a little bit tighter.
Say it again.
And the crazy thing is my parents never wavered. They never, you know, it'd be easy for them to be like, you know, why, you know, feel sorry, but they just turned up love. Really, is what it is. You know, they just turned it up, and we've had a support system like no other. Like just to say that we did it on our own would be a disservice to everybody who helped us out. You know, we've had family. My parents have been in the same house for over 20 years in Austin. So, you know, we've got the neighborhood people come, and everybody's been supportive and everything. Foundation, clothing line, things we do, everything has just been, it's been helpful. But specifically speaking on my dad, I feel like, you know, he's like my role model. You know, that's who I look up to. And, you know, to see him, it was hard for a while to see him hurt, because I could tell, and he's a real playful joke. Like, he's all jokes all the time, you know, 100%, all fun, you know, laughing. And it's just see him like out of his element. That was hard for me. And it was hard for my sister to understand. You know, she was younger at the time, and, you know, there's really no good age to go through anything like that. But it was hard for her to kind of grasp why, you know, these things happen. And that was really tough. But like I said, my mom was a rock the whole time. And she's been our rock. So we still lean on her, and she just, you know, pushing her faith on us, and, you know, and strengthening our faith as a family in God. And, you know, all things happen for a reason, you know. So we're here today, and we're stronger and better. So,
yeah, PJ, there's a lot of love and strength in your family. You could already tell by the way you speak about them. Like, what advice would you give to others out there that are struggling, that have gone through something similar?
I would say talk about it. Find a healthy outlet. I mean, you can only do so much, you know, so much drinking, whatever you do, whatever, so much going out. You can't run from these things forever, you know. And I just still things I battle with myself, you know. And you think, you know, I go out a little bit and forget about it, or I'm gonna start working out a little bit more and get my mind off it. But at the end of the night, you know, you lay down, and these things still come back. You have to deal with them. So I think talking about it, and especially as men, you know, it's kind of like a taboo, you know, a lot in the Black community as well, that, you know, mental health is not like something that we should address. It's not a thing that we can worry about. It's not like, it's not for us. It's not, you know, but that's not true. So I think, you know, just to address it, talk to somebody about it, and don't be afraid to be vulnerable about how you feel. Get those feelings out in a healthy way.
You hit the head on the nail with that one. As men, we don't, and then especially as Black men, I think it's almost like, at least in media portrayals, is that we don't show emotion. So I love that you said that, from one to another. Dude, I wish we were able to see your father. You know, I wish you were able to, you know, if you lasted long on the show, if it was, you know, meant for you and Michelle to be.
Yeah.
Obviously it wasn't, but, you know, if it was, I can't imagine just the magnitude that your family would have had on the show, on, you know, on its trajectory, right? Because, you know, the show has its history. But that's a gem we did not get to see. I wish we would have been able to see it on the show.
But luckily, Mike, he's here now. You know what I'm saying? And we're spreading his story, and you know, we want to push this out to the masses, so, you know, they can hear this story. Because I agree with you. I wish, you know, the connection would have been there a little bit more, so you could express this on TV. Because I think a lot of people could have benefited from hearing your story, man, and the strength and the love that your family has shown through all of this.
I know I had read somewhere, PJ, that your mother had said something along the lines of, and forgive me if I'm butchering it, you know, turning your pain into purpose. And literally, by you guys, the pain that took place in your family, you guys are in turn giving light and love to other families, which are with the Bakari Foundation. That's kudos. You know, we gonna like claps in the back.
Respect, man.
Right?
That's awesome. It's
like
amazing.
Facts. You know, on our hot take that we do a hot take on every episode, I want to ask you, because I would have loved to have seen this. I'm glad that we're able to talk to you here, but I would love to have seen you talk to this with Michelle. On our hot take, I was saying, I wish that in the real world, like all three of us are in right now, that you could be vulnerable and open up to these real things that have taken place and are a strong part of your foundation as a human being. You know, right from the beginning. Is this something that you would have told Michelle, or what are your thoughts on like telling someone like on the first or second date, hey, this is a foundational pillar of who I am as a person? Because we saw on yesterday's episode, or on Tuesday's episode, that Jamie broke down and opened up. So how do you feel about doing stuff like that? Do you speak about this, or?
it's a very big part of me, but also I feel like I don't want people tend to, when you tell them, people want to be like, oh, I'm so sorry, and that's, it's just natural response. But I feel like, especially as a family, we're somewhere to where like we can give back, and we have grown, and it has made us better. So I don't want it to be like, it kind of overshadows the getting to know a little bit when you come with it too early. So that's something I kind of ease into. It's kind of a lot. I feel like I don't like to put that on people, out the gate. And sometimes it's a lot of people to process. So,
dude,
I ease into it for sure.
I completely respect and get that. I really want to be able to like work together. I lost my one of my most recent losses, my cousin, to a gun shooting in Oak Cliff 3 years ago, and so. When I say I understand, I just want to be able to do something. I want to be able to help your brother's foundation and help your family in general. So if we can, I genuinely would love to help out in that regard. But on a lighter note, man, how was your time on the show? How was your time getting to meet Michelle? How was that?
I didn't get a whole lot of time with Michelle, but I did enjoy the moments we did have. There's some characters out there. It was fun. It was truly fun. It was a little bit different than what I expected, as far as like and maybe it's just because I wasn't out there long enough for it to get to that level. But I'm thinking, especially athletic background, you're thinking, okay, hey, this is game day. Like, hey, we got to be. These are my opponents, right? And then you get there, and everybody, what's up, bro? It's all cool. So
it's like, whoa, you cool?
You thought it was going to be a bunch of alpha males just going at it, basically.
Right, exactly.
All right, talk about athleticism, or being athletic and being in sports. Can we talk about Nate, 6'8", and can't make a layup? Like, bro.
Oh, the one piece of footage where he misses the layup. They aired it.
I was like, bro, come on now, homie. You gotta dunk that.
Yeah, we gotta dunk that.
That was big talk back. A couple of guys I know, Olu, he's a big hooper, and I was like, man, I got the classroom date over basketball, and what's going on? I wanted to get out there, but they said Nate couldn't hoop. I was like, wow, man, that was.
He said, wow.
I was shocked to know that, and seeing that is definitely.
Who did you become friendly with in the house? Like out of all the guys?
Me and Olu were pretty close. We talked a lot, and so we spent a lot of time together. And I had a bunch of talks with Clayton. He was a good guy. Yeah. He seemed real genuine, like a fun guy, and we related with football and kind of things like that. And not knowing too much about the whole process of what was going on with the show, there's a lot of guys who knew a lot, and I was like, man, I maybe should have done a little more research or something like that. But it was fun, and I'd say Olu, Clayton, also Spencer was real laid back. He was chill dude, fun to talk to. Nice. Like he was real relatable as well.
So you didn't bring a playbook onto the show, did you?
No, I left my playbook, my notes, and
as you should. Yeah. But speaking of, we were actually talking, before you came on about the whole situation with Jamie, talking about Michelle and Joe having known each other back in Minnesota. Like, can you take us inside? I know you were behind the scenes in that scenario. So, like, could you tell us, like, was there a lot of talk about Michelle and Joe amongst the other guys, or was this all Jamie basically stirring the pot?
It came up. It's funny. It came up, but it came up as like a joke. I forgot who brought it up. We were eating, and it came up like almost like a joke. Like, hey, they probably knew each other, man. Like, just like basketball, same age, Minnesota. Like, but I didn't know it was a thing until the actual cocktail party when she came down and kind of addressed it, and I was like, wow, this made it all the way back to her. This is festered into something that is a lot bigger than what it seemed like at the time. Yeah. So, and then it definitely cut the night short. Yeah.
I saw your face when Brian asked that question. Like,
you were like, I don't know if I want to say it too much.
He was like, I don't know if I want to speak on that. How was that for you when you found out that they knew of each other?
I mean, I wasn't surprised. I mean, it didn't surprise me. But the thing is that he left her on red, bro. Like, he's got to make up. Regardless, okay, they've had contact. We get it. But now he's got to make up. He's got to make up ground. I feel like, if anything, you know, he's got to explain why he left her hanging originally. So why is it a big deal? You know, but I see it both ways. It's, you know, it is what it is.
It might make her doubt him a little bit more. You know, why are you here? Now all of a sudden, you know, you left me, you ghosted me back then, and now you're here. So
she said it. She was like, did you come over here because I'm the Bachelorette now when you already left me on red? And so
she held no punches.
She didn't waste any time.
Yeah,
that's a fair question. That was a good question for her to ask.
It is a fair question.
Definitely so. What's next for PJ, man? What we got for you?
It's just kind of back to regular scheduled program for me. Work. I got a bunch of trips and stuff coming up for some fun stuff, and trying to catch a couple football games. I'm a huge football fan, so
I gotta ask, bro.
Who's your team?
I'm about to click in if you don't say the right team.
I ride with the boys. I ride with the boys all day.
Oh, from Houston.
That's my boy. That's my boy right there. Yeah. Say it loud.
Born in Dallas.
Say it loud, baby.
Okay.
Say it loud.
All day.
Yes.
So yeah, that's it. You know, just try to kind of build off things that have kind of been started, and you know, keep working with the foundation, the clothing line, and you know, kind of build some traction, and hopefully get the support we need out here in a few months for get my mind ready for that. So that's about all I got.
I love
Absolutely, man. So the Bakari Foundation.org for everybody listening, you know, check that out and donate, you know, to families who have gone through a, you know, tragedy.
PJ, you had mentioned that your brother Bakari has started a clothing line, and that's why he was in Greece. But then I think I heard you said that that's still going.
Yeah, you're continuing it on, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah. As a family, we kept it going, and we started sales in 2019, and we're still going. So we're still putting out product and stuff. We have all he was big on writing stuff down. So we have all his templates, things that he wanted to do, things he planned on doing, and things he had. So we're just going with his idea and keeping it alive. So
how would you describe his fashion? Like what kind of merchandise are we talking about?
Man. He's swaggy. He's a swaggy guy. He's real sharp.
There you go,
he's
man.
big on that. But it's athleisure wear. Athleisure wear is the term, I guess. But it's good quality, man. It's surprising how much goes into, you know, really having good products. And seeing it from this side, it's like, wow, you know. But I mean, he'd love it. It's all stuff that he would wear, just chill, relax stuff you can get up and go, work out, lounge around the house, you know, something a little bit more formal, collared shirts, all that stuff. So.
Mike, I feel like that's our style, bro. We got to cop some Bakari gear.
I'm gonna cop you something for sure. Do I go to the website to cop something?
Yeah, it's BakariLuxurySportswear.com.
BakariLuxurySportswear.com.
Okay. BakariLuxurySportswear.com for everybody listening. Definitely. Well, we're gonna definitely cop something. Rock it here on an episode, one of these episodes.
Hell yeah, PJ, man. Much respect to you and your family. I think you're doing amazing things. You know, you're turning this tragedy into a positive for a lot of other people, and you know, we just appreciate you for coming on and sharing your story.
100%.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you. It's been an experience, and every time I get to talk about it, I feel like I grow a little bit more. So I appreciate y'all listening.
So before you go, man, I got to ask you a question. Could we possibly see you on Paradise? Would you consider it? Huh?
I'd consider it. I'm not opposed to it. Yeah.
There we go. There we go. If you go to Paradise though, like you got to have a dope entrance with your firefighter background. I need a dope entrance, bro.
Okay. All right. I didn't even know you did intros on Bachelor in Paradise, but okay, cool. So I need to get that together.
Okay, so this dude in this last season, his name's Kenny. Do not show up butt ass naked, bro. We can't be homies no more if you do that.
No naked. Okay.
Don't
no nudity.
Don't
you
do
can
that,
bring your hose, but the fire hose, not your hose.
Fair enough. ABC, I get it. Okay.
There you
go. Family show.
It's a family show. PJ, love having you, man. Again,
appreciate you, man.
Everyone listening to BakariFoundation.org. You guys are doing a phenomenal thing. I genuinely want to be able to, give my support and love and my time as well to it. Thank you for just telling your story, being vulnerable, open as a man, as a black man, and just continue to do great things, man. Love having you.
Amen.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for letting me get an opportunity to talk about it. Appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Homie.
Take care.
For all of our Talking Out listeners and family, if you or a loved one is facing challenges in your everyday life, Know that you're not alone. Help is available. Visit suicidepreventionlifeline.org for resources, or if you are a young person of color, visit stevefund.org. Again, that's stevefund.org for a culturally trained crisis counselor and other resources. PJ, a smooth brother. He just. I
He
wish
reminds
he
me of like with the stash. I don't know, like one of those like '90s like movies.
He's a '90s debut, bro. Blair Underwood.
Like he has like a '90s look. Like he was like a heartthrob in the '90s.
Yes.
'90s R&B singer. Yep.
Yes.
Like some silk, loose clothes.
He
like just,
literally, he was a lead singer in a group before.
Yeah.
In another time, he was a lead singer in a group. He got that like, the deep calmness to him.
yeah.
It's that understood confidence.
Yeah.
That he
yeah.
got. You know what I mean? That's one.
No, and I mean, singing to me in the rain vibe. Yeah. Just like clothes all wet, the thirst trap going on.
Here, PJ, it doesn't rain in Southern California. That's heavy. That's PJ, man. Also, I want to hit on it again. I love how he said, being a black man, and being vulnerable is something that isn't really seen much. And so I just love that. I appreciate his vulnerability and openness so much. And
I love his honesty when he was, because we asked him. I mean, obviously this would have been an amazing opportunity to get the story of his brother out there and talk to Michelle, and unfortunately he didn't get to do it. But he even said, he's like, that's not something that I want to throw on somebody so early. You know what I'm saying? So he's like a little bit more reserved. So I respected him for that. Whether he did or didn't, you know what I'm saying? But the fact that he has that stance and he's like, he like respects the other person and doesn't want to put too much on him and rather get to know him a little bit better first. I love that.
Hey, well, hopefully we see more of PJ on Bachelor in Paradise.
Hey,
let's make it happen.
The invitation's there. The invitation's there.
Yeah, we got some. We can make things happen to y'all listening here on Talking It Out.
Yeah,
we're gonna make it happen.
In the universe.
We'll put it on the universe for you. See them there.
Definitely check out the Bakari Foundation.org to donate to families in need who've gone through tragedy. And to all our listeners, thank you for tuning into today's episode.
Definitely so. Today was a deep episode. We appreciate having PJ on. And to our family, we always love to hear your opinions, your stories, your insight. So please don't forget to like, comment, follow. Message us on social at Talking Out BN. That's Talking Out, B as in Bakari, N as in Nation on Instagram. Or Bachelor Nation on TikTok. Yes, we on TikTok. And Facebook. And Bachelor Nation on Twitter. And as always, baby, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and listen to us on the Odyssey app or wherever you're listening to your podcast right now. And baby, don't DM me no more until you hit that subscribe. Love y'all.